Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka Chi Zhenhong met with members of the media today to share his views on a range of subjects with regard to Sri Lanka and China. Beginning with Chinese assistance to Sri Lanka, the Chinese envoy said that what has been seen so far is just the tip of the iceberg.
In my personal opinion, I believe there are much more potential we can do in between our two countries. Number one, definitely, is to overcome the current difficulties. That is, there's some loans, financial support. But I believe there are more we should do in terms of the future, because we have to have a long-term vision about the situation, how we can get over this crisis and to resume the sustainable development of the country. And in this regard, China can make a great contribution to Sri Lanka in a long-term way. Chinese side has the willingness as well as the ability to have the cooperation in all the fields with Sri Lanka. And also, including the FTA negotiation, we could resume negotiation on the free trade agreement. We believe that the FTA will be very helpful for Sri Lanka to overcome the current difficulties and to achieve a long-term development. I have reiterated many times with our media friends, there's no private agenda for China on this part.
Speaking on Sri Lanka's International Monetary Fund negotiations for a bailout, the envoy explained that taking the historical example, any bailout comes with strict conditions and that it was still too early to gauge how debt restructuring would impact on Chinese loans.
According to the experience in the past, all the countries who have decided to receive IMF support, the bailout will have to have very strict restrictions on the loans and also all the other financial structures. So at this stage, to be very frank, I cannot tell you what impact will it be to the loans from China to Sri Lanka. I can assure Sri Lanka friends is that under the current difficult situation, when Sri Lanka are in the urgent need, China will continue all our support, including the investment to Sri Lanka, to help Sri Lanka to get out of the difficulties. Especially the important issue is that we need to help Sri Lanka to increase its own ability for the self-development. The debt restructuring is a very important part in the negotiation between Sri Lanka and IMF. Let's wait and see how the negotiation will be concluded.
The envoy also highlighted what he termed an unfair portrayal of Chinese help to the island, which he explained is a bit more than just skin deep and has helped Sri Lanka delay its economic impact. The envoy explained that Chinese culture is one that shies away from doling out assistance and then causing any embarrassment to its friends.
What China has done is actually much more than its numbers. Everybody now is talking about the fuel shortage, but actually from last year, July last year until January this year, the PetroChina has supplied Sri Lanka, the CPC, with the most economic price with 19 ships of diesels and petrol, which has been a huge support for Sri Lanka to overcome the difficulty for the last half year. And within these 19 ships, the total amount is about 730,000 tons. It's a huge amount. And only 7 ships has been paid, and another 12 ships are still not paid. The outstanding is about almost $400 million.
$390 million.
Yeah, and the second reason that actually, according to the Chinese culture, we always want to be the low profile, and we don't want to embarrass our Sri Lanka friends, our friends.
Because we are good friends, and this is a critical moment. We don't want to make our Sri Lanka friends embarrassing. This is our tradition, our culture tradition.
I feel actually very unfair to learn from some foreign media, not in Sri Lanka. Some foreign media, they have criticized China, didn't help Sri Lanka. But to be very frank, is without China's support, the country, Sri Lanka, cannot achieve the current success to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. And also, the crisis of the economic and the financial crisis might have already happened years ago.